an enterprise run largely by former officers of Mossad and other Israeli intelligence agencies.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is, oh my God. This, I had to post a Twitter to John Le Carre and saying, here's your next story.
God.
Oh my God.
Okay,
you
so
gotta read it. It's fast.
Well, here's the thing that I don't understand, because you've got it's gonna sound weird, but I'm disappointed, especially in like Kevin Spacey. And the reason I say that is because you're one of these people, you know, for Harvey and Kevin Spacey, you're both rich off your ass, right? You're famous. You can make pretty much anything you want happen. Why wouldn't you hire somebody to hire someone so you wouldn't know, you know, completely who they are, to do as close as you could get to an organic rendezvous with someone that you wanted to seduce and take home? Because you can't tell me that there aren't like Yahoo groups for that kind of thing. And
or
I'm like,
80s movies.
Or 80s movies. I mean, you just go to the VHS store, you know, you go to Blockbuster and find somebody. But you know what I mean? And especially like Kevin Spacey, you have made your reputation by playing crafty evil bastards. And yet you're going to do stupid shit like this. And if I can say, in today's environment, I'm very disappointed that they are keeping those people who could have had those jobs, they're keeping them unemployed. And I think that is unforgivable.
Right.
Those people need to eat too, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, well, all right. I don't want to make the analogy of sports or anything, but yeah, I almost do, because in contracts with sports players and stuff, technically, like, they're not supposed to do A, B, and C because they're valuable. That takes them off the roster. And you're right. It's like you're harassing people, and then all of a sudden, you know, like House of Cards, it is now tumbled. You know, will that show be any, you know, all of a sudden, this was an industry, this show, and you've screwed the pooch for all the key grips, the producers,
Throwing the pooch would have been less dangerous.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
Yes.
Warning. No, what I read was, because I was curious about that too, is that they've only just started Series 6 production. And they're basically looking at how to go forward with the rest of Series 6, because as Netflix has basically said, just what you're saying, it's not these 300 people who work on the show. It's not their fault that this shit has gone down.
Right.
The number I just read was about 2,000 people in Baltimore will be unemployed out of it.
Wow.
Because of it. Yeah.
Well, it's a trickle-down effect. You know, Rox,
let me stop you right there. That part of the dossier has not been proved yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I meant like when he said the 2,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's, you know.
Well, I just think that they should have Robin Wright assassinate his character and then go on with her.
All right, well, here's the thing. That's what they could do, because that's what happened in Series 4. Was it 4?
No,
4.
3. I thought they only did 3.
3 for House of Cards in Great Britain. And to me, it's like, I have no idea where they were going to go with this now, because it's like, you know, unlike, you know, politicians in other countries, you know, Margaret Thatcher was prime minister for how long?
Yeah.
Where we don't have that. So unless there was an act of Congress to change the rules,
well,
I mean, they did this weird subterfuge thing, like, oh, we shifted it and this and that. I don't buy it.
Well,
you know.
I'm not completely caught up on the show. I know kind of what's happening, but I have not had a chance to catch up. But my take on it was, that you could have, and I actually thought this would be interesting. It's because most shows like this don't survive a sea change of what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
Like for West Wing, I would have loved West Wing to have Alan Alda's character, who, by the way, liberal as hell in real life, but was playing the conservative politician we would all want, because he was amazing. But basically, if his character had won, and you have an entire new, the Democratic characters leave, they all go out and become the lobbyists and whatever else who are still in the show,
making more money,
and then you have, a complete regime change within the White House, and now all those characters come in as well. And I thought that would be fascinating. But with House of Cards, I was thinking, let him leave the White House, but what he's done is he's set up the next guy and is grooming the next guy to basically be the, for lack of a better analogy, the Lurleen Wallace to his George, while he is doing the ex-president thing of going around and making tens of thousands of dollars for speaking engagements and still conducting his business. Which the idea of having Frank Underwood being like, where Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter are now, to me, that sounds awesome, because that evil bastard going around and, oh, yeah.
We don't know how much money Dick Cheney's making.
We don't. And I think if we did, we'd be killed. So,
and granted, I've never seen the show, but isn't the whole purpose of a House of Cards to crumble?
Yeah.
Hey!
Yes, it is.
So if you take his character out and you watch everything he's done crumble, isn't that still sort of doing the whole House of Cards thing?
Wouldn't that be House of Jenga, though?
No, that
Never
stars
seen
The
the show,
Rock.
so.
Oh,
Yes. And it would probably be quite charming.
Here's the thing. Well, Widge. Spoilers.
I've met him. He's an asshole.
No. Spoilers for those that have not
Wait,
seen
who?
the House of Cards with Ian Richardson. She actually, his own wife takes him out. I mean, she does, and she orders the whole assassination plot because he's become, a loose cannon.
huh. Weird. Art in real life. Anyway.
What?
So Advent's
I don't know. I'm just over here drinking.
This just in.
Ignore the guy in the
just
corner.
in. Advent starts December 3rd.
Did he also ask you at the same time if you forgot how to use Google?
I didn't want to.
No. That's what you have a boyfriend for?
Yes. It is.
So JJ's here. Oops, he's on mute. JJ
Yes, I
was
am.
here. Oh,
Hello.
hey.
Hey, is it still daylight there where you're at?
Nope, it is very dark.
Really? Ew. All right, so you're like northern west. North.
Yeah,
Northwest.
if you go north out of Portland, you will be in Washington.
Okay.
In fact, you cross a bridge and go into Washington.
Right. Did that. So on a cloudy day, how dark does it get? Like what time? Like 3, 2 in the afternoon?
Well, I mean,
I said a cloudy
on the-
day. Cloudy day.
depends on the time. It depends on the time of year.
Now, like
Today, I guess it started getting dark at around. I wasn't really paying attention,
1:30.
quite frankly. No, it's not. We don't do like when I lived in Maine. It starts getting like legit dusky, like at around 3. But let's see.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I hated that.
It really is. But I'd say sunset today was probably somewhere in the 4:30 range.
Oh, whoa!
But it happened while I was making dinner, so I really wasn't paying attention.
All right. Well, it's going to get darker. So let me know. So when it gets dark, like around 1:30, let me know.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
so I
starts,
can like, cause my, just to do an outburst of injustice of this daylight savings time end.
And what time does it get bright in the morning?
well, let's see. What time is sunrise tomorrow? Let me
Google.
consult.
Yes.
Let me consult my phone.
John, are you
Uh,
on the payroll for Google? There's
We're-
other
I got a
search
secret for you.
engines.
We're all on the payroll for Google.
No, we're not. We're profit. We're giving them profit. We're not getting paid by them.
Yeah, we're revenue sources.
We're revenue sources.
Sunrise tomorrow is 7.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. That's okay.
Because I remember when I was up there for Serve's wedding, that I woke up at like 4, maybe 5 a.m. I guess probably 5 a.m. and it was bright as day outside.
Oh, it's
It
crazy.
was crazy.
Up north, it's crazy in the summer. It's like, wait, it's 3 a.m. What? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
And then that same day we went to a baseball game. We got out at 10, and it was still light out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back when I used to be a baker and I have to go to bed early, I hated it in the summertime because I'd have to go to bed at like 8 and it'd be full sunlight
It's
till
like,
about 10:30.
just like a kid. I don't want to get still
Yeah.
daylight.
Now, you're a candlestick maker now, right?
I am someone currently who is starting a new position or is having a new profession, but I am carefully trying not to say too much about it online just because it is one of those things that
That's okay,
Only-
JJ. By the time this airs, you'll have another position somewhere else.
oh Jesus Christ, I hope not. You have no idea how much I hope not.
So it's not a candlestick maker then.
It is not.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh man, how did you get the job and I didn't?
Well,
Not,
if I
nice
told
deflection,
you,
Rock.
I know.
I am actually typing what I do now into the chat.
Ooh.
Okay, everyone quiet.
That-
By the way,
that
we
was-
can probably still keep talking
Typing.
while he does that.
Typing. Not
Yeah.
really. We can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
I am
yeah, so it's not like it's anything that's
male
No
escort.
way! Oh wow, that is so cool.
But you're a male escort. That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
know.
who's also an assassin.
Wow.
Hey, I'd watch that show.
Yeah.
And a cobbler.
My
Yeah.
great grand something was a cobbler.
I'm not so big on cobbler. Can we just have regular pie?
They fix your shoes when you had decent shoes that you needed fixed.
They outsource to elves now, let's face it.
Yeah. Brownies. It's brownies.
Oh, brownies.
So,
I can't remember.
wow, I'm gonna type in
When they graduate to
question.
when they graduate to Girl Scouts, are they allowed to still do it, or is it only when they're brownies?
But
I'll be here a week.
okay, so this doesn't matter. What Rox just typed in is she asked me if I had a hat. Here's the thing.
It's all about the
just hit
hat,
on-
man.
No, I get it. I get where you're coming from, and I even know the kind of hat you were talking about. So I will legit say that the kind of hat you're thinking about, no. However, like so many other jobs in the world, I have the opportunity, if I chose to wear a baseball hat. Now, here's the thing about having Irish lineage. The one time one of my first baking jobs, they required that I wear a hat. I had long hair at the time that I had to wear braided in the back, and I had to wear a hat. And so they gave me the store logo hat, and it didn't even come, the one size fits all didn't even come near fitting the circumference of my head. So I actually,
'Cause you're monster tall too.
I'm 6'2". I mean, it's not,
That's monster tall when you're my height.
but I I had a hat that came from a Wayne's World Mike Myers mask. So it was designed to go over a mask that was designed to go over your head. And that on the biggest setting, like barely fit my head and like would leave marks in my scalp from where it like clenched in so tight. But that's the only hat I've ever had that came anywhere near fitting my dome.
Ah. Okay.
So let me just, any job that requires me to have a hat, I laugh because I'm like, you can try, but we ain't going there.
Okie doke.
So, cowhand or cowboy?
Yeah.
Neither of those things. Neither of those things are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are like 10
You wanted to be
gallon
one, but you couldn't fit.
hats.
So,
They're like,
so you were trying to be an astronaut, but you couldn't fit in the helmet, is what you're trying to tell me.
Exactly. Because the problem is that even if I, my bulbous head just like fit that whole dome, it just was the whole thing.
do you know you have to be a certain height for like a fighter pilot too? You can't be too tall.
Well, I could never do that just because I have astigmatism.
Ah, I do too. Ah. So
Yeah, I
how
have
did
a
you
bit
get
of
the
that.
job as an assassin?
Well,
He uses the
assassin.
other eye for the scope.
Yeah, I have a corrective scope.
All right.
I have it polarized to the right
I
slant of my astigmatism.
tried getting the job by saying I had 2 periscopes and I just flashed them together.
The problem is
And
you
they're
have two
like, that's good
periscopes,
problem solving, but I'm sorry. You're too short.
but you've got to have 2 periscopes and a microphone.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Have fun, dear.
You're kicking your wife out? Is that it?
God.
She's on her way to aerial class, so she's about to go do silks and trapeze.
Oh, wow.
so
Wow. You're just living the cool life now.
I think he's just living the I think he's just living the Portland life. Is really.
Portland life. Yes.
I won't. If I don't feel necessarily the need to do this again, but I just went off on an episode of Mars Needs that I haven't aired yet. That it goes off on sort of the mystique of the Portland life versus what Portland life actually is.
Except you just told us you said your partner is off to do aerial silk work.
Aerial silk.
So I'm not sure that.
Well,
That's your
okay.
argument.
The thing is no. Well, we have that here in Florida,
I don't
down
know
the street.
I don't know that we have that. in Tampa.
Outside. They have that.
I would be surprised if a city the size of Tampa didn't have some sort of
We're gonna find.
circus arts.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to find.
Oh, well, we
it.
do have the Ringling Museum down here. So
Yeah, but you have to find it.
Yeah, I mean, and
You have
but
to find
also,
the hip kids in Tampa. They mingle with the old people.
But
it could also be that I'm old. Yes, that is true.
I also, I did spend my my childhood in Mississippi in school, in a performing arts school. So did my girlfriend. She studied ballet for 12 years. I mean, we sort of have a predilection to sort of go in that direction anyway. And and quite frankly, with my job now, I work very odd hours, and so fuck's sake, if I'm not home, go take a class, go hang on a trapeze for a while,
Yeah. Or take up a fashion class.
So apparently there is. I just put into the thing down in Ybor, which is our version of the Bohemian District. Yes, there is.
Is
actually,
it really? No. Is it really? I thought it was like just drunks.
Well, during the
What's
day.
the difference?
During the day, it's our.
I
it's our
never
arts district.
saw anybody hip at Ybor City. What are you talking about?
It's their arts district at that time of day.
What? No.
During the day, yes. If you go to that area of Tampa, maybe not down the main strip.
During the day.
Not down the main
Why?
strip. If you trust me, they have the whole, warehouses converted to lofts thing going on down there, yada, yada, yada. Yes, but anyway, there is a yoga and circus arts place down there, downtown.
Yeah, and that's yoga and circus arts. That's hippie as shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, so there you go. What do I know?
Is there
Again,
an
I'm an old
assassin
guy,
class
and of course,
as well?
if you look, you'll see the one of the models on there. Of course, she has the fishnet and the tattoo across her chest and the whole 9 yards. So there you go.
Yeah.
And they're only open till 8:30. So
What? Well, that's to get the last,
Wow.
coffee, meet and greet. You need that. So that they can chill down after heat yoga or whatever.
I like the fact that one of the things you can click on here is the aerial dragons. I mean, that's way to make it sound tough.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Do they have knives?
Rain
Oh, there
Do
it
they
is.
have
I see it.
knives?
Reign of Fire, the musical.
I would so go to that.
Who plays Christian Bale's part though in the Broadway version?
Who would want to destroy their voice that bad?
Right.
Well, there is that one guy. I can't remember the actor's name right now, but there is this one actor who seems to specialize in transitioning roles. He played the Bill Murray role in Groundhog Day, but he also played Rocky in Rocky the Musical.
What?
There was a Rocky the Musical?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. So how did somebody sing the Burgess Meredith parts? Hey, Rocky. It was Ethel Merman, wasn't it?
Which means it was Nathan Lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want you to chase the chicken, Rocky.
I got a question for you. Is Josh Gad our new Nathan Lane?
Ooh.
Is that what we've all agreed to?
I don't know. And the reason I say that is because I don't remember Nathan Lane doing a lot of serious roles this early. But Josh Gad is in Orient Express, the new one.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also in I'm blanking on fucking I don't have names anymore. Hang on a second.
Oh my God. Do you know Nathan Lane played a straight guy in Miami Vice? It was horrible. I didn't realize how horrible that show really was.
Nathan
He was
Lane's
like this.
not straight?
Marshall. That's right.
What? Oh, the Thorogood thing?
Yes.
Marshall Thorogood movie?
Yep.
Well, according
Oh,
to
hey.
Harvey Firestein, he played straight in Independence Day, and I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
you-
God. Did he
Wow.
really? No, there was
Somebody
no.
asked him about what it was like to play gay characters in straight films, and so they asked him about Independence Day, and he was like, "Oh, honey, I was not straight in that. Or I was not gay in that. No gay man would wear that shirt with those pants."
That's amazing.
Oh, that's amazing that you can do that.
By the way, I used my movie pass.
Oh, how'd it go?
It went surprisingly smoothly.
What is this movie
Like
pass?
This okay. We've discussed a couple. So have you heard about this, JJ?
No.
Okay, so for $10 a month, you can go to as many movies as you want, only one per day at the actual movie
right.
cinema. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I have heard of this.
Okay, yeah. So I got one, and I promised last time I'd try it out, and I did. I went and saw American Made because I wasn't going to pay for it. Although technically I do pay for it, but not the price that they actually ask. Actually, I don't pay for it. Somebody else pays for it. I paid them. It worked. You just check in when you get there on your phone. Say I want to go see this movie. They load up the debit card with the price of a ticket, and you go up and you go to the kiosk, or you go to the person and say I want one for American Made, and give them the thing, and boom, I'm in. So it's the only one I'm going to see. I'm going to go see Thor this Friday.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm going to took the day off, so we're going to go see it during the day.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
I did.
What'd you
Without
think,
my
Rox?
boyfriend. He didn't want to go. I liked it. I'm like,
thought it was
well,
cute.
it's one of those things like you don't have to go. We don't want you to go. If you don't want to go, I don't want you to go. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Brought back
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was.
of 70s music. So they're really kicking it with the oh my god, there's that use of Willy Wonka's music in it. It's lots
Yes.
of fun. It is. It's a lot of fun. And there was an article out about Chris Hemsworth that he is settling into a funny comedy role actor.
Well,
More so.
He did one of my absolute favorite sort of surreal sketches on an episode of SNL. I guess it's been about maybe a year, 2 years ago now. That just really shows he's got great chops. Where it's a bunch of women having lunch or having lunch or whatever with their friend Claire, and their friend Claire is Hemsworth in a wig. And it turns out that he is actually Hemsworth in a wig playing their friend.
Wow. Oh wow.
And
Yes.
it's really his comic timing is just eerily perfect in that. But
it's amazing.
I also really like slightly surrealistic, silly comedy. It's why I like Monty Python.
This movie is because it's like, you know what? We're off planet. We're gonna do whatever. And what's his name is really good in it.
What's his name?
Jeff Goldblum. He's really good. There's like an article of, I don't know if he was in Washington or Wall Street Journal, but it was like a photo spread and people are like, he's 60. Oh my God. So it's a lot of fun. You go for fun, really.
Well, I mean, here's my, I was planning on seeing it Monday, but then I wasn't able to get free in time. But yeah, I know not everybody liked both Thor movies. I loved both Thor movies, and I loved Eagle versus Shark. I loved What We Do in the Shadows. I loved Hunt for the Wilder People.
I was gonna mention all that. Yeah.
So it's for me, it's somebody put their peanut butter in my chocolate.
Here's the thing. Growing up, I never liked comic book Thor. He was an asshole. I just never. Well, yeah. But I never read it. It's just like, no.
One of the things that gets me excited about the film, and I'll we'll see when I get there, but when I started reading Thor was right in the heart of the Walt Simonson, like Beta Ray Bill, just everything huge and bold. And so this film looks like it's kind of a cross. It sort of looks like if Walt Simonson, and granted, I've been staying away from the previews. I watched one preview and then I decided I want to watch this. So why am I going to watch continued previews to show me more shit that I've already sold on? It's sort of the same embargo I'm doing right now with The Last Jedi. I drank the Kool-Aid already, so stop showing me stuff.
Are you doing the same thing with Black Panther?
First preview that had the music set to had the Run the Jewels music, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then I'm just like, I'm done. I want to see it. So
yeah, be aware that the second trailer is just them basically fucking showing off. It's like, it's like, seriously. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, oh you like that? Let me show you all this other cool shit you're gonna like. And it's like, oh my God, would you just stop already? It's not February. Fuck you.
I mean, I get all that, but I'm kind of the opinion right now that right now I am because of my new job and because there's some politics in that will be over once I'm off probation in 6 months, or in January I'll be off probation, and that'll be nice. But with the political situation of things right now, I personally need joy. And so I'm like, on things that I want to enjoy, how about I just experience them as they happen? And so that's just sort of why I've personally pulled back.
No, that makes sense.
But just from watching that first trailer on Ragnarok, it kind of looks like if Simonson took his run and also did some of Planet Hulk and just sort of mixed it together in like a mortar and pestle and like threw in a bunch of chalk just for color.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
fairly accurate.
And I'm into that.
Yeah. Well, I think my thing is, I look at trailers two ways. I mean, to me, it's helpful in that if I watch your trailer and I've seen the film, then thank you. You have saved me the trouble of going to your film. You know what I mean? There's so many trailers, you watch them and you go, well, that's the movie. That's it. But what I enjoy about the Marvel stuff is that I like watching it and then coming back to it after the film to see, okay, what did they do? Because it blew my mind about Avengers, that they had the first Avengers film. They had so many trailers and showing footage, but seeing it in the context of the film, I didn't care that I had already seen that shot of, the Hulk leaping up and smashing something.
Right.
And surprisingly, I was having too much fun to do what I normally do with such things, which is, oh, well, I know such and so is going to come into this scene because I remember seeing the background with them doing this in the commercial. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I will admit,
but and that's just me. That's just me.
No, I get it. I mean, and I will admit, I was stupid excited about Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I did basically dissect every frame of every trailer and everything. And I forgot all about that when I saw the movie. I was like, just eating the cotton candy.
Yep. Speaking of which, I've started watching the special features on the Blu-ray, and apparently everyone knew this but me. I did not know that Tom Holland is a gymnast and a dancer, and can do a backflip, standing backflip.
Have you watched?
I did not know that.
Have you watched his? He did a number on that lip sync battle show.
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, first of all, he got his start in Billy Elliot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in the London production of Billy Elliot, if I'm correct. And so he did this. So they did a Spider-Man Homecoming tie-in episode of that lip sync battle show where it was him and the chick who plays Michelle. And so he comes out and he looks like he's going to do a number to Singing in the Rain, and the audience is kind of like, huh, that's weird. And then he does, in drag, he does Rihanna's Umbrella.
Oh, God. Okay.
It is breathtaking.
Huh.
Looking it up now.
I'd already, again, as soon as I saw the trailer for Civil War, I was already wholeheartedly in. I mean, his appearance in the trailer for Civil War was better than any Spider-Man we'd gotten in film up to that point. So, I mean, I was already in love with him before I'd seen him in film at all. He does even outside of playing Spider-Man. I'm just like, this guy's great. Let's just keep him forever.
Yeah, he's pretty great. What I loved was when I saw it, and they mentioned this in an interview I saw with the Russo brothers, that they used the large font on the screen for where they were, to kind of give the film chapters without giving it chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But they hadn't really thought about the fact that when Queens came up on the screen, at all the screenings they saw, people cheered because they knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And that happened at the screening I was at too. It was like everyone was like, "Fuck yeah!"
I admit when I saw it, I was the only person that when it said Queens, I was like, yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, that's never stopped me.
But I'm also, I tend to be that person at the end of every Marvel movie when everybody else is scratching their head going, why do we keep staying for these scenes that we don't get? I tend to be the one that's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yep. Yep. Which
I was one of the few people that in the screening where at the end of Guardians 2 where I was like, Adam Warlock, cool.
Oh yeah. Well, I think one of my favorites is the Homecoming very end one with Captain America, just because it was just brilliant and dumb at the same time.
Yeah, and it's kind of time for that. For them to sort of do it. It's right for the self-mocking point.
Yep. But yeah, Ragnarok was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And we've got something else coming out. It's this weekend, right? Isn't it? What's the name of that thing? Isn't that this weekend? That thing.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't Justice League this weekend?
Oh, I don't know. I saw the trailer for the Shape of Water. Has anyone seen
that? It's
that?
the following weekend.
I've seen the trailer. Yeah, it
looks good.
Del Toro. So I mean, I'm pretty much already in, but
So since you put it that close to Justice League, my brain immediately went to, so it's Del Toro's fantastic gothic retelling of the Wonder Twins?
Yeah.
No, that's right. Not this weekend, next weekend. So.
I'm sorry, I am transfixed by this performance by Tom Holland in
It's amazing!
Umbrella. It is freaking incredible.
I will.
And dude is built, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean,
so
he's
help
not,
me.
Strong, but he's got that, just gymnast fit, which obviously since he is one.
Considering how many of actors that I have admired in recent years, or just in recent weeks even, have turned out to have horrible scandals and stuff behind them, man, that kid better be as pure as he appears, because so help me if he's got sex puppies in his basement, I'm ruined.
Unless it's an actual band, and then he's, Sex Puppies in the Basement could be his cover band for.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Or Skinny Puppy.
I'd listen to the shit out of them.
So anyway, the Movie Pass worked great. That was just
good.
Yeah.
So you pay $10
$10
a month and you could see anything every day.
You could see one movie every day. Now, interestingly, what just came out is they added an addendum to their rules.
Yeah.
Which basically doesn't say precisely, but it does say something about you seeing the same movie more than once.
Because
Really?
people have been abusing it.
Well, you could, in theory, when you start to get into this time of the year, right? You could just keep going to see Thor every single day.
Right.
And you've only paid $10. The deal is that, as we've discussed before, is that AMC or whoever you go to see the movie theater, whatever movie theater you go to, that they don't have agreements with any of the movie theaters, but they pay the full price to the theater, at least currently, right? So they've added that. They've also added that if you cancel for any reason, you cannot join again for 90 days, or is it 6 months? Anyway, it's a period. So it's one of those things where, people are going to cancel based upon when the movies start to slow down again, when the blockbusters start to go away, right? So when you're in the middle of the doldrums. So like I said, I would not have seen American.
We don't want to see.
By the way, was a really good movie, and probably one of, Tom Cruise's, controversial to begin with, but on top of that, he can be hit and miss at times. But American Made was a really good movie. But it wouldn't have been one I would have paid for.
You know what? Now I know why that name kept bothering me when you said that. There was that superhero character in The Tick, American Made.
Yes. Yes. It wasn't
glad
that.
somebody
It
made
was
that
about-
And
that
I'm
reference
like,
was on you.
wow, okay. And then I realized, it's that Tom Cruise thing.
It was it was a story of the guy that basically was responsible for he was the middleman for the Iran-Contra affair.
Mm.
Which where the CIA is exchanging guns with what turns out to be the Medellins and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
trying to got the Iranians involved and yada yada yada. So
I actually watched those hearings. Just
Did you?
saying. Yes.
well, they were the only thing on for a while, right? Because you only had
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember too vaguely the Watergate mess too.
oh well.
I had the flu during the OJ trial and watched 2 days of that.
I remember playing pool at a pool hall, and it was the only thing on all over the place.
Wow.
The OJ trial. That was during lunch.
My sister Roberta, she watched I think the entire thing, and that's because she was a poli-sci major, and she saw where Marcia, the prosecuting attorneys, Clark really screwed up. Well, there was like one instance where somebody had to file something and she didn't get it done, and she's like, "Oh my God, they're just horrible."
Well, she got
Lazy.
out-charisma'd. I from the little bit I watched when I was too sick to get up and change the channel, she got out-charisma'd something terrible.
I know. It's like, does she was, at the time, she was put together pretty well. She was stylish. Do you not? I'm sorry. You have gloves and they were like dripping with blood and whatever. They dry. You do not try to have some man put his paws back through it. They're not going to fit.
Well, and if
Just
they
not
don't
gonna
fit, you must let the guy off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
that would have been me. No, they didn't fit. You gotta let them off. Oh wait a minute, that doesn't click, does it? No. Johnny, you take it.
Blank verse isn't going to cut it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So did you watch
God.
the clip, Widge?
Did I what?
Did you watch the clip of Tom Holland yet? That's what.
Oh, no, not yet.
Here, let me send you a
Okay.
link. If I can find it, I just had it here a second ago. I went over the Movie Pass thing. That's what the problem was.
Oh, yeah. So why do they care if you're watching the same movie multiple times?
Because they pay full price, and they don't want you to just, because if you think about it, if you're home on vacation, you want to watch Star Wars 16 times, and you only pay $10 for the entire month, so you're only out of pocket $10. They're out of pocket $160. So
They send you an email saying you need to go see The Murder on the Orient Express.
Well,
So you
it
can be
probably-
terrified by Kenneth Branagh and his mustache.
I know. I know.
And it's probably better for the movie theater if you mix it up a little bit, just because of I know the contracts in general with movie theaters mean that like movie theaters don't get dick out of big movies for the first 2 weeks. They don't start making money until like they make real money if the movie has been out for a while and is still playing.
Yeah.
I know for movie theaters for the longest time, the most profitable movie they'd seen in it was something like 50 years was My Big Fat Greek Wedding, because that movie didn't do anything upon opening, but then spread and spread and spread. So even the studio didn't make that much money on it, but movie theaters did great.
This is true.
And so you're right. So the movie theater movie theater gets paid regardless of how many times I go see it. But yeah, from the Movie Pass's perspective, they just don't want to have to keep paying for that. So
Yeah, I guess.
If I pay for the pass, I want to see Star Wars every day.
well, that's true. But but it is still, even if you only go see, well, in my area at least, even if you only go see 2 movies a month, you've already made you're already ahead of the game. Actually, one movie, because it's a 10 something a month or 10 something a movie and in prime time. So
Right.
Yeah, I wonder
So-
if you could do something like, because if you, especially if you have the, well, you can't leave and come back after a certain amount of time. Be like, oh well, you can. Well, it's $10 just for the regular. Watch however quantity of movies you want, but if you wanted to go see movies 2 times, then pay 15 or whatever.
Well, remember this thing used to be around. It's been around for years, but it was like $30 a month at the
Right.
before. Which, in hindsight, I mean, if I was going to the movies that often, that would still be a great deal, right? So
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Someone like you, which who does reviews and whatnot, that would be fantastic, right? So,
Assuming, like you said, you can't get them ahead of time, so
Right.
you're kind of it's like the price line of movie tickets.
You have to be within 100 yards of the movie theater to activate the app, so that you can say, yeah, load up my thing with this. Now, you of course can't do IMAX or 3D showing, because they're only going to pay for the basic 2D. But still, again, it's still a decent deal. I mean,
Oh, and by the way, JJ, I don't know how you saw Ragnarok, but I saw the IMAX 3D because that was the only IMAX available when I could see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It was Rocks that saw it.
Oh, that's
I
right.
saw
Sorry.
in a regular theater.
Well, the IMAX was great. The 3D, I could take or leave. So let that help you spend money.
Because you know what? I really didn't notice what would be 3D.
Well, it's more of a depth thing. I mean, when they were
okay.
like you're on the car and you have that vista of trash going out, and when you're in space, they have different levels of. So it wasn't any. They're not doing the whole Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Pancakes thing. They're just
Because I have astigmatism, I have to be real picky about doing 3D movies because it's really hard to fit 3D glasses over glasses.
Yeah, and since you have that cool job as an assassin.
you don't want to do
Yeah.
anything to screw up your vision.
No.
So I
How do you
Yeah,
fit the night vision goggles over it?
I know.
Or do you have corrective
Oh,
night
it's
vision
just-
goggles as well?
well, no, they're kind of like the goggles they had in Jurassic Park, where they just they go over everything,
Oh, okay.
like swim goggles.
Somebody knew you, didn't they? They're like, yeah, just give them a pass.
Yeah.
It's Rocks or JJ. Well, we like.
Well, it
JJ.
turns out, my father always said he was a telephone repairman, but he was actually an assassin. So I got fathered into it.
Nepotism. I knew it.
Nepotism is everything.
Knew it.
I just had to wait for nepotism to take over Washington so I could take advantage of
All
it.
right.
Congratulations, you have won. Oh, speaking of winning, Virginia did the sensible thing. They elected Northam.
Both Virginia and New Jersey have gone
and New Jersey.
Democrat.
Well, I think New Jersey. The funny thing was, I happened to be watching CNN at that time. Literally, it went down to 0 till the polls closed, and they said, "Yeah, we're claiming we're predicting that Murphy wins New Jersey." It was like literally 0 seconds had passed. They're like, because at the end of the day, it was it's Christie's. What do you call it?
It was that 4th
governor,
of
whatever
July
you call it.
photo. That's what it was. That whole closing the beach off. That's what it was. That did him in.
I think it might have been
I
many
get the
other
whole.
things too.
Well,
but
it's
that
what
certainly
I-
was a nail in said coffin.
It's my
That
post.
very big coffin.
Whatever I could figure out on posting against Chris Christie. I mean, really.
And you never, ever, ever, ever want to do anything that associates you with the Jaws mayor. Just never. So
Oh, I don't.
Nice.
Yeah. Holy crap. Oh, wow. All right. Well, So how much money did Hillary make after losing? You know, they all make money after they lose. I want to read that Hacks book now.
I imagine she's not hunting for scraps.
She ain't hunting. No,
They weren't hunting for scraps to begin with, but
Yeah.
no, they were not.
interestingly, what do you call it? Bill Clinton's name is invoked in American Made because it was all run out of Arkansas. The whole gimmick was run out of Arkansas. Bill Clinton was governor. So
Oh.
they were running. They were
I
running.
see Sonia's turning off lights.
They're
You only
running
have
drug-
a few more hours, right, John?
They're running drug planes like on the daily from Colombia through Nicaragua to Arkansas because no one suspects Arkansas.
Well, no.
Right.
Why would you?
Well, no, not until now. And when you have that show, the Ozarks, it's like they blew it all open.
Mhm.
Yeah, something else.
I
need
haven't
to
watched the
watch.
Ozarks yet.
It's good. Good series. Really interesting.
Jason
The
Bateman.
trailer
did a good
looks.
To the point that it's
Fantastic.
like they the show, it's the Arrested Bateman, right? Yeah.
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. So he's a money launderer, and he pretty much wrangles his kids into it early on because there's no way you can hide this. So it's a good series. Good series.
Yeah, when in the trailer where Laura Linney just lays out
Oh my god.
what's happening.
Yes.
Who,
I
like,
shit
okay,
you
this looks
not.
intense.
We're laundering money.
who would have thought from way back when that the side
Oh.
character from Silver Spoons was going to be the actor with the longest career?
Yes.
Where is Ricky Schroeder these days? Where is Mr. Schroed?
Oh, wasn't he on NCIS or something? Where
He
all
was. And I wonder too if
give
if
it
they'd
enough
actually been able to
years, and I
finish-
think Kevin Spacey will be on that show.
oh wow.
I'd say it's about time for, now that he's Rick Schroeder, he could show up as like the new like 80s throwback actor on Stranger Things 3.
Yeah.
He's been okay.
On any number of
film-wise-
Hallmark movies.
Yeah, for film, apparently he had a cameo as himself in Get Him to the Greek. That was his last film appearance. And he's been doing television movies about one a year.
Hell's Kitchen is a reality show.
Yeah, that's the Gordon Ramsay one, right?
Yeah. Dolly Parton's Coats of Many Colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said yeah.
That's
So
Hallmark.
it's Dolly Parton's what she's
Movie.
sponsored by Benetton, is that what that is?
Something like that. Something like that. Yes. We're
Burling-
Italians.
Benetton
We're
of Burlington.
Italians look like trash. Beautiful trash, but I will say.
I'm glad you went for the Bennington remark instead of the Andrew Lloyd Webber, where my brain went.
Although I will say this, JJ, I was in New York recently and I saw two shows. One of which was School of Rock, and that was a hoot. I really enjoyed that.
I listened to the original cast recording, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was JJ. I did not know until I got up there that that's Andrew Lloyd Webber, and
Is it?
yes, it is. And what's even stranger is that the person who wrote the book is Julian Fellows, who did Downton Abbey.
Downtown Abbey.
Oh wow! No, I think the last like newer show I've seen was I got to see a touring production of Kinky Boots, which was really good. And then when I was in New York, I could only afford to go to one show, so the only thing I got to see was, and it's kind of fun because I got to see a show that closed pretty quickly, but I got to see Young Frankenstein.
Oh, okay. How was
Was it
that?
Steen?
Sega Kev!
I liked it. I didn't, it's not. It certainly wasn't the film, and I think one of the problems with that show in general would be, much as Johnny Depp found out, you don't take a classic Gene Wilder performance and redo it. You just don't, because nobody's Gene Wilder. And so it was George. I can't remember his last name. Who played Dr. Frankenstein, and he was at too high a level. There was really no subtlety to it. But the number for putting on the Ritz was astounding. There's the sequence where the monster is dancing in front of what you later realize is basically a backlit scrim, where he's dancing with his shadow, and then at one point he stops and gestures, and then the shadow has this huge dance number by itself. So they've been dancing blind in perfect sync, which is pretty fucking astounding.
Nice.
The Roll in the Hay number was fun because they managed to do it in a way where the two actors are lying flat against a projection of moving. Kind of similar to what I understand. There was I haven't seen Groundhog Day, but I hear there was a car chase in Groundhog Day.
Wow. Okay.
Where it was laid flat to where the cars are sort of like puppets, but the screen has moving road going by.
Right.
So it was kind of like that. So I mean, some of the trickery was fantastic, but the show itself, I think maybe Young Frankenstein was not the best move. Maybe not the best thing to work on, because it's you spend the entire time going, oh well, this is where the script's a little different. It's not. I mean, the producers has a following, but I don't think it has the loyal following that Frankenstein has.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, because you have Peter Boyle, you can't replace. You have Madeline Kahn, you can't replace.
Marty
Feldman and Cloris Leachman. So it's really, really hard. It's like you have those iconic roles. It's like, no, I'll tell you, I've seen at least several Music Man adaptations, and nobody could replace Robert Preston as Dr. Harold Hill.
Right.
It's one of those things, even when you revisit it, I like younger people, they're probably like, what was the funny part?
It's like the fact we're about to see Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. That's gonna be hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that might get a pass because people are so in love with Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where you have
where does everyone come down on Hamilton?
I like it.
What I have heard, I like. I want to see the show, so I've kind of not spent a lot of time with just the music.
Well, by the time there's affordable tickets in 2023, it'll be fun.
Right. Well, I mean, eventually it'll go out on the road, and that's.
I mean, it's on the road now. Well, I mean, it's on the road. Sorry, excuse me. It is. There is a tour. There's a. No, it's still stationary in Las Vegas. I mean, Los Angeles. The tour starts next year. Starts in 2018. Right.
Well, they did have one that went on tour, because that's what Kim wound up seeing
in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually still there.
They're probably doing like Lion King did, where they just slowly moved it out and just take over certain theaters.
The regional theater circuit tour doesn't start till next year.
Okay,
that's my understanding. So I mean, it's in the bigger cities. Maybe not forever, but at least for an extended period of time, more than what you would see it, say, in Atlanta or in Tampa. where it's usually a weekend or a couple of weekends or a couple of weeks or whatever.
Right.
Because I know for a fact that basically the straws here is that the only way you're getting a ticket short of a lottery is, and they do have a lottery system everywhere they go, is to get season tickets now for this season so that you can get your ticket for next year,
Right.
the next season. So
Yeah, because like Fun Home was just here, and I really wanted to see it, but you know, my girlfriend was in a production of Midsummer Night's Dream the same weekend, so you know,
decisions.
You make your decisions and you live with it.
I want to see Fun Home as well. I've been on a kick lately of listening to the original cast recordings of lots of Broadway shows. That and jam bands. Those are my two things I've been listening to a lot at work while I listen.
One thing I enjoy is trying to find foreign language original cast recordings.
Really?
Like there's a really great Rocky Horror show musical soundtrack from Peru.
Oh, fun.
And there's the Polish soundtrack for Cats is really good. Seriously.
Which is something you never hear anyone say about Cats.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed Cats. But
it is great. You'll see it again.
Now, the other thing.
But bump.
Hey. And the other thing we saw up there was M. Butterfly.
Oh, fun.
Which was Julie Taymor, and Clive Owen was the lead. So that was crazy.
So was it Taymor doing the good thing, or Taymor doing the I did Lion King, I did Titus, I can get away with just throwing shit at...
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think she was. I see what she was trying to do, and I think to a certain extent it worked. But she was using a lot of basically just flats that spun around on stage and formed walls for rooms, and anything that was needed was basically these flats that would come out on rails and move into position. And they started off with very basic beige type of things, and towards the end they had these fully rendered what I assume what certainly looked like authentic communist propaganda posters. And I wish they had done more with the build up to going from very basic, very bland colors to that part of it didn't work. And I thought that the flats were a little busy, but that was basically her thing. That was the whole setting with it.
I was about to say the fact Sorry. I was sorry. I was going to say, but the fact that you went directly for art direction is part of why she drives nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which is sad because she strikes me as we could have had we don't anymore. Tarsum, where The Fall and The Cell, which were amazing art-wise and everything else-wise. And The Lion King, even beyond the art direction, I really enjoyed it.
Well, part of the thing with The Lion King, though, is that The Lion King was solid. So you can tack even Titus Aurelius is such a story that you can tack that kind of stuff on. Not everything needs that kind of stuff tacked on. Spider-Man collapsed under its weight.
Right. Well, to her credit, that I don't think it wasn't that she was trying to overburden it. So I totally get what you're talking about.
I haven't gotten over being mad at her yet for Across the Universe.
I never saw it because I heard Eddie Izzard's cover of Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can make me hate something Eddie Izzard has done, I don't need to go anywhere near you.
There's
So
you can watch this on YouTube and avoid 99% of the film, which I recommend. There's one number that worked. There is I Want to Hold Your Hand is done as sung by a sort of wistful a wistful girl who she's sitting in the bleachers watching this cheerleader she has a crush on, but she's in small town America, and so she can't act on it.
Right.
Singing, I want to hold your hand, for a relationship she's not allowed to pursue. That is beautiful and chilling. That is everything about the movie that's good.
And well, I think also there is a problem with the play itself. That some of the reversal that they're trying to do in the second half happens a bit too quickly. Because you could basically go, okay, I see what you're doing there, but you kind of, it was almost like, oh, we need to do this. Wham, 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 wham. Okay, we're done.
Right.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, I have in general, I have a problem with the "would it be cool if" style of directing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I saw Taymor's Magic Flute with the giant puppets and stuff. She liked that.
How was that?
I liked it. The one who's dead, he hated it. He hated everything about her. But I liked it. And I think that's why I liked it. So it was colorful. I mean, he had a problem, and I don't think it was her. I forgot who did it, but Madame Butterfly, and this was the Met putting it on. And I can see the point of doing it. Now the story on Madame Butterfly is, she falls in love with this horrible sailor. His name's Pinkerton. He marries her, but then leaves her. He goes back to America, comes back. She's got this little kid, and he's married to an American woman. Hey, but we're barren, so we're going to take the kid. So she commits suicide. Seppuku. But anyway, lately, this one staging, they used a puppet, which was really cool. Now, that always is an issue, because the kid is not, I don't know, part of the guild yet, the Actors Guild or something. So that sometimes is an issue, to deal with. And I thought, the timing, if it's an evening show, that scene doesn't show up until, I don't know, 11:30 in the evening and stuff. So I don't know if they took a cue from Julie Taymor's Magic Flute with the puppetry or something. I don't know, but I liked it because the other one, because I can compare it to the one. Now here's the thing about Met Productions: they're stuck with them for years, because somebody put out the endowment to have the staging done. I think they still use the Aida one from, I don't know, 1972, just because it's so big, and the outfits are now threadbare and stuff. So it's hard to, can a production on that kind of scale. So I did see that one, and I wasn't really thrilled with it because it was very sparse. We want our kind of TV type of thing. And off of Mozart's operas, that has like one of the most amount of action scenes You know, like, hey, we're doing something. We're doing something. Oh, hey, we got this dragon. We're doing something. You know, whereas Don Giovanni can go on, and I don't know how many scene changes it has. You know, so anyway, that's my take on her. That's the only things I did see. Titus Andronicus, the movie.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Oh, yeah. Color scheme wise, though, she had a good cinematographer, I will say. Other than that,
She obviously thinks visually, and part of it is
Yes.
that every time. The reason I get so disappointed in her is that she kind of suffers from, in my opinion, Guy Ritchie disease. Of every time you see something she does, you're like, "Oh, that looks like it'll be fun." Oh no, never mind.
yeah. Yes. So Tuffley's here, so I can tap out and we can tag team. So as like in wrestling, tap and all right. So here's my recommendation because I have a hearing and an interview to interview a potential library director tomorrow. So Leonard Moss, I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but WQXR in New York City had the voice of classical music, and his name was Leonard Moss, and he passed away, I don't know, I think last year. But he has a daughter, N. West Moss, and I picked up the subway stops at Bryant Park. Bryant Park in New York City is my favorite park for years. And if for anyone who's watching The Deuce, it's a really cool show because it takes place in the late 70s, about the scurviness of New York City. And Bryant Park was a horrible park. Even though it's just like a couple acres, it was just, it's the park right behind the New York City Library. So it's always a scurvy, scuzzy kind of park, but now it's been great. I always stop at Bryant Park. So she's made, it's a books of short stories. It's really good. And it's either about people that visit the park or they're denizens of the park, or, you know, it's a mention of the park, but really cool. So that's my recommendation. That's all I got.
Ding.
Cool.
Thank you. And I tap out like Hulk Hogan. Tuffley, you're in.
Okay. And I'm here.
Hi, Tuffley.
Hello.
You have been anointed.
So Tuffley is the ultimate warrior of this.
God, no.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I got 6 hours of sleep right now, so
Oh.
Right now, you're taking 6 hours of sleep right now.
No, I've had 6 hours of sleep. So I may not be here long, but or it may be the best non-Lee episode in years. But yeah, it's been an exciting week so far at the house.
Okay.
What's happened?
Well, currently right now, Kim is downstairs, slowly trying to recover from the sight of seeing Jeremy Renner in skinny jeans.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
And she's consoling herself and trying to ease herself down from that high by installing an Xbox X. So,
So
Yeah,
you went with the X, huh?
Explain to the nice people what you guys saw.
So last night at the Fox Theater, Scarlett Johansson and a couple of art house actors got together and did a benefit reading of the play Our Town for hurricane relief in Puerto Rico.
Sweet. And how did it go?
It went well. It was good. There was a running, not exactly a running in joke, but it was a running thing where apparently Chris Evans's big part, they all conspired to hide his page with his big part on it. Actually, they took his binder, so they're doing the reading. So if you've ever been to a reading, it's basically they've got the play in a binder that's on a stand, and they basically flip through and read it, but you don't actually see them do it, I guess. So apparently, it was decided that Chris Evans's big part in this reading, they decided to move his page elsewhere in the binder than where it was actually supposed to be, so that when he got to his part, he wouldn't be able to find it.
Nice.
That's cruel.
So when
That's funny.
So when he gets to his big part, he there's like this long pause and everybody's starting to look at him. He's like, I don't have my page. And Downey was actually, if you're familiar with Our Town, there's a stage manager character.
Thornton Wilder has those.
Yeah, and Downey was the stage manager.
That makes sense.
So, you know, he did mention, I might have moved the page since I'm the stage manager. I might have been responsible for that. And then Frank Grillo was next to him, so there was a thing about him borrowing his binder. And then later on in the play, he actually found where they hid the page 12. That was the one he was supposed to have for his part. So it was funny. It was good.
I will say, when I saw that picture that you put up of it, I did think that is way too much talent for Our Town.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that there were hijinks to actually make it listenable.
Yeah. So it was, just for the rundown, it was Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo. I always mess up this lady's name, but she plays Michonne on Walking Dead.
Oh, Denai.
Yes. Frank Grillo and the guy who plays Sitwell were the top people.
Yeah.
Way too much talent.
Isn't it Maximiliano Hernandez or something
Yes,
like that?
Max. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He gets thrown. He has death by automobile a lot.
Yeah, he does. So it was those folks, and then a couple of local folks as well filled out some of the other parts. And it was kind of neat the way they had the staging set up, because the people who paid for the quote VIP seats, actually got to sit on either side of the stage.
So they were the dead.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
So how much were how much were tickets?
I think ours were like 90
a
piece, but we had floor seats. We got floor seats.
It's not terrible.
It's a bit further back in the Fox. So if you're familiar with the Fox, it's just under the balcony. So it's just under there.
Right.
Oh, that's roughly where I saw Pantera.
Yeah. We were actually commenting. That's where we actually saw Janelle Monáe and Bruno Mars. So
yeah. What's odd though is
spot.
that they also hid the lead singer's page in Pantera. So
yeah, they did that. They did that at the Mastodon show too, I noticed. So
it's a thing. It must be a
a thing.
thing.
Really, I will say, because that's the only show I ever saw at the Fox, I will say that is truly one of the most exciting shows. Because I went to, I only went because a friend of mine bought the ticket.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, Pantera wasn't listed. It was a Skid Row show.
Yeah.
And so then Pantera opened. It was the Slave to the Grind tour. And the fact that I was in a theater that I was the only person that knew who Pantera was, and most of the front were like teenage girls that just wanted to see Sebastian Bach. I have never seen so many scared people in a theater in my life. It was the best.
I'd imagine.
But that had nothing to do with Our Town.
It depends on which version of Our Town you've seen, I suppose.
I would love to see a Pantera, because I did Our Town like a long time ago, and
Yeah.
I, even having done it, like it's one of those shows that halfway through. I mean, there are some shows in the world like the musical Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Terrible to watch. It is so much fun to do.
Yeah.
I would perform it again, but I would never go see it. Our Town, I don't want to do. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
The only thing that was fun about my production of Our Town is the guy who we brought into the high school of performing arts that I went to, who played the narrator, later went on to become a Muppet on Sesame Street. So that's kind of badass. He plays Barkley the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, so Scarlett Johansson was Emily.
Okay.
And Redder was George Jr. And Ruffalo was his dad.
Doc.
Ruffalo was Ruffalo's dad?
Yes.
Yeah, we did Skin of Our Teeth at my high school.
Oh, also not my favorite.
It was fun though for me because I played the stage manager and I was the stage manager.
Oh, fun.
And everyone knew in school I was the stage manager. So when I came out, basically there's Thornton Wilder does this. Basically someone misses their entrance and they're all sitting there going, what do we do? And the stage manager enters and like crosses the stage and goes, basically just stall for time. I'll think of something. And I remember at the school performance, everyone started laughing because everyone knows I'm the stage manager but they don't get it's part of the show yet. So
nice.
That was fun.
Yeah, they did a production of Skin of Our Teeth here a couple years ago that I kind of wanted to go see just because there's this, I forget what it's called, but they do it once a year where it's, you audition anonymously. The cast never meets each other. Each actor audition or has rehearsals with the director separately, and nobody knows who's in the show until the night of. And then when your part starts, you get up from the audience and just do the show.
Okay.
So it's basically a guaranteed train wreck. But they did Skin of Our Teeth, and that show is kind of presentational. I was like, that might be kind of fun to just like be sitting next to someone who gets up and then plays a caveman.
Yep. God, that's crazy.
I'm not necessarily down with it when they do something more serious because I'm like, that's just, I don't know. You don't go to say train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
That's usually for the flying pigs.
Although I would, I would be interested in one of the drunk Shakespeare performances because that looks like that could be fun.
That sounds great.
Oh, have you not heard of this? Basically, if I understand it correctly, you have okay, imagine a production of Hamlet, right?
Okay.
And I think one of the actors, they draw straws, and whoever gets the short straw gets drunk. And they have to try to work, they have to do the show with this person sloshed out of their minds. And my understanding is it's funny as fuck.
I imagine it would be.
So
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would, to me, that almost sounds like the whole nobody knows who's in the show until they get up and you guys start doing it. That almost sounds actor's nightmarish for me, you know?
Actually,
it's like,
sorry.
No, I was
go ahead.
going to say, actually, the drunken Shakespeare thing kind of sounds like Dylan Moran's Hamlet.
Which I would gladly go see.
But there's also that movie director who never, I can't think of his name right now. He did Topsy Turvy and Secrets and Lies.
Oh, Mike Leigh.
Yeah, who kind of does that on film.
Well, he does improvisational. So,
Right.
But at least you know who you're acting opposite, and you know what the scene's about, so you have a target. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he also likes to keep actors apart until they work together. So, knowing, like, let's say if you've never met or worked with Jim Broadbent, and then you find out you're going to be working with Jim Broadbent, you kind of, I don't know, you kind of want to get the cut of his jib before you hit anything on film.
I would want to, yeah. and you know, just basically say, by the way, you're fucking awesome. I know you know this, but you're fucking awesome.
Well, that's the thing too, yeah, because the first take would just be me going, "Did you know you're Jim Broadbent? What's that about?"
Nice.
Wow. So yeah, that was fun. That was good.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was happening.
I didn't know it was happening either until last Monday. Kim called and said, I got tickets, and barely distinguishable forms of words. And once I had gotten past the, okay, you got tickets, what did you get tickets to? And then she kind of explained it. Because it's funny. And the thing is, the next day, because I had to kind of get out early because going downtown in Atlanta is a bit of a drama and a production in its own. And so I had to ask my boss if, because I wanted to get off early so I could go to this thing. And so I tell him there's this thing downtown. You're going to see the Avengers Read Our Town, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to get tickets. Oh, well, we got them, and I'd like to go.
Probably yours.
So I was so I could get off early. So there was a bit of a discussion about how we got the tickets. So because those went pretty quick.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was a good time. Good time. Good of the reasons to lose sleep. That's probably one of them.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, it's basically the MCU players.
Yeah.
And Michonne.
No, she's in Black Panther.
Yeah, she is.
That's true.
She is. I forgot.
Is that why they were all in town? Were they all working on Black Panther?
Yes.
I think.
Actually, probably working on
Infinity War.
Call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Adventures
My understanding is that Black Panther is doing reshoots.
Yeah, Black Panther is doing reshoots. Avengers. I think they're doing Avengers 4 now.
They're doing 4. They're doing 3 and 4 together. So.
Yeah,
but they might be doing 4 kind of tentatively now, based on whether or not they actually buy Fox.
Wait,
yeah.
What?
Yes, you didn't know this? I thought you guys had already talked about this.
No,
not yet.
What's up?
Oh, okay, JJ, go for it.
Disney's trying to buy Fox. Basically, it's because Marvel wants to get rights.
Holy shit!
Now,
so
hang on. So this is the movie studio and the content divisions, not the television network or the news or the sports. Basically, all the content stuff, none of the networks.
Yeah, the stuff that Disney would actually want.
Yeah, the content stuff, not the media.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, Disney wants the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Wow.
Don't forget, Fox still also has the rights to the first Star Wars film, filmed by themselves. They own that.
Right. And Deadpool, which is a lot of money out there right now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, there's some indications right now that they are tentatively writing Wolverine into an Avengers flick. The way they tentatively wrote Spider-Man into Civil War.
Oh, I'm sure that they have multiple places where they could bring them in. But my question would be, how do you... where do the mutants come from when you've already established that everybody's Inhuman? How does that
New
work?
York.
What's that?
They come from upstate New York.
Well, I mean, the way they've always been set up in the comics up until, very recently, the X-Men have kind of been on their own island anyway.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
So bringing them in is not that big of a deal.
Can they, if they buy Fox, does that mean they can stop the New Mutants film from being released?
I'm afraid not, Widge. That may already still happen.
But the thing is,
shit.
Here's the thing: is that trailer didn't look that great, but both Claremont and Sienkiewicz have Sienkiewicz. Excuse me, I've said his name wrong for so long. I still have trouble.
I know. It wasn't until Twitter that I basically.
I know, and I have to when I go to pronounce it, I have to pronounce it the way he writes it. Thank you,
yes,
Mr. Sienkiewicz, for putting that out there. That way, I wish more writers and things that I watched for a long or read for a long time would do that, so I would know.
Yeah, you hear that,
But
Chiwetel
anyway.
Ejiofor? Get on it. I know
Well,
you
as soon
listen.
as I found out his nickname was Chewy, it stuck with me.
That's true.
But,
But anyway,
But they both read it and signed off on it, and they basically both of them kind of gave the impression that the trailer was kind of rushed out.
Well, I think it was rushed out for Halloween because it's kind of a horror flick-ish.
Right. But you know,
thing, so-
it's supposedly the Demon Bear story. So
No, yeah, it is Demon Bear, and I'm very interested in that because you know the other storyline that they did together was the Legion one, which they've already, you know, kind of adapted. So I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm kind of, although it doesn't appear that they're keeping the actual New Mutants settings, so I'm not really sure.
no,
It's
It
not
is
in the
weird.
school. That part I'm a little iffy about.
no, it's not in the school.
Yeah.
and I'm not really a big fan of White Sunspot, but
Oh, who's Sunspot?
they got a Brazilian actor, but they got a fair-skinned Brazilian actor.
Oh, okay.
So it's not exactly whitewashing, but in general, Sunspot, even in the comics, has been drawn. He keeps getting pretty much with every iteration. He gets drawn a little bit fairer skinned. Now in his current iteration of the head of AIM, he's drawn almost as Caucasian, and it's kind of a shame because he wasn't.
Yeah. But the Fox thing is interesting if they pull it off. And just for the because basically Disney will get the Star Wars sequels in 2020 when Fox's options run out, but they'd never get Star Wars unless they buy the studio.
Wow.
They'd never get the rights to the first film because Fox owns the first film. So the rights to Star Wars, the rights to lock up all the films now would also be kind of a good incentive.
I mean, do I like the idea of an actual X-Men feeling X-Men movie? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, do I and now's the perfect time to take control of it, because basically, you know, they've killed all of the fun of First Class with the Apocalypse,
Ooh.
which was shit. So yeah, I mean, because next is what? Dark Phoenix, which we've already done. So it's like, why? You've already established we're in the same.
Well,
Well,
it's the complete elimination of X-Men 3.
To be fair, X3 didn't happen now, so
Right.
Yeah, but
They
I
wanna make
watched
sure.
it. I lost part of my life watching that. You don't get to do that shit again.
Well, and not to mention, if you can't do Dark Phoenix because you haven't earned Dark Phoenix. We haven't.
Yes, thank you.
We haven't seen that Jean Grey. We haven't seen her do anything. We haven't seen her. You know, they haven't gone off into space. She hasn't sacrificed herself to save people. She hasn't. You're just jumping to it because everybody thinks, oh, Jean Grey, Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, let's do it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is there's no time to properly. Not only have you not set up the character, you're not. The character has to be corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
instead, it's like, well, this. How did she become Dark Phoenix? I don't know. It's just kind of this thing. It's like,
Yep.
What? So, now granted, I don't know what the fuck's going on in the comics because apparently the original X-Men are back and they're younger selves and they haven't gone back in time, so there's no reason why the X-Men should still exist. I don't fucking know.
Although I will say, the time-displaced X-Men it is like reading, because I
I love that All-Star that all new X-Men run.
Exactly. I was gonna say, I have found in recent years that any X-Men involving the school, like involving kids, I like. Any X-Men involving like the X-Men that you think of as the X-Men, fuck it. Don't care.
You know, I like I don't know if you read Gold, but I kind of like the first storyline in Gold.
Okay, I haven't.
Okay. And that would be the relaunch. That was basically, so Gold is, I think I joked about this, is basically the Uncanny lineup from 1986. So.
Okay.
Nice.
So it's everybody, I think it's, they swap out Wolverine for Old Man Logan, and Rachel has a different name now, and Rogue's in the Avengers, so she's not around, but basically everyone else, it's like the 80s lineup of the X-Men.
Cool.
So I at least like the first storyline.
Yeah, I think the only X-Men title I have read since the relaunch was, and I can't remember the name of the title now.
Sorry, which relaunch? Which relaunch?
The latest relaunch that
relaunch,
gave you blue and gold and such.
Oh God.
But
That
the
was a lot
one
of
where Jubilee's running the school,
Is that Runaways or Generation X?
I think it's the new Generation X.
Okay.
Wait.
Um,
So is she still a vampire, or do I even want to know
Yep.
the answer to this question?
yeah, she is.
Okay. Sure.
She's got it under control though. She's a blade vampire. She's cool,
Oh, okay.
They actually
and she's
they
got.
actually did a couple of cool things with that, with the
She's-
when they were doing the X-Men, the other X-Men book. Sorry, Wedge. This is confusing you.
No, I just, it's like I was saying, talking about Ragnarok. People will ask me, so is this from the comics? And I'll be like, I don't fucking know at this point. They could have done this and undone it and then done it again in the time that I've been away.
Again,
No telling.
if it is based on, because and so Tuffley, I haven't seen it. I don't know if you have.
Yes, I did. It's
okay.
fantastic.
But
I've
if
seen
it
it
is-
twice so far.
Oh, cool. But if it is as based on Simonson's run as it looks, I mean, Simonson did Ragnarok.
Yeah. It's a hodgepodge. It takes a little bit from all over the continuity. The only thing that
Right.
is possibly people may raise an eyebrow about, because I've heard this in some corners, is Hela's exact relations to everyone else.
Okay.
But which people are, which technically at this point in the comics continuity is actually another character, but they do that all the time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm kind of Alan Moore's opinion of comics are comics and the movies are movies, and that's fine.
No,
And-
absolutely.
And to be absolutely honest, explaining Angela at this point is confusing enough. So why have her there?
Right.
So I'm fine with I'm fine with the substitution.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to be a little sad about, just because I'm a bit of a mythology nerd, as on top of being a comic nerd, and one thing that that Simonson kept that I just can't imagine they have time to establish in the film is the fact that the fact that Ragnarok is actually launched by the people in hell, the people who died the cowardly death, finish the ship they're building on the toenails of the dead. And so they actually set sail on Asgard on a ship built on the toenails of those who die cowardly deaths. I'd love to see that.
Nice.
And-
yeah, I need to go back and reread the Simonson run. I keep thinking if they just had, like you're talking about,
you have the
liking
omnibus,
Thor
right?
movies. No, I don't.
Oh, okay. I've got it. You could, if you'd like to borrow it.
Oh, I just might. No, I enjoyed Dark World more than I enjoyed the first film, but I did enjoy the first film.
Right.
But I'm like, I still want a Blu-ray where I can turn on a special feature and get the Walt Simonson sound effects come up on the screen.
Bathoom.
Yeah, boom. That would be amazing.
Also, if you ever just get a whim, there was a limited podcast that was done called "The Lightning and the Storm."
Yeah.
So it was Miles from Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men, which is a podcast that I enjoy quite a bit. But did The Lightning and the Storm that was basically it was supposed to be 13 parts where they do sort of an in-depth analysis on Walt Simonson's Thor. It turned out having one extra part because they actually got an hour and a half interview with Walt Simonson that's really enjoyable.
Wow. Nice.
But it's fun because it's almost like getting the audiobook of the comic in the fact that they go through like 3 or 4 issues at a time and sort of like analysis on like somewhat of when the stories take place and things like that. So it's fun.
Nice. It has been forever.
So we were kind of talking about All-Star X-Men a minute ago, and
Right.
Or all new X-Men a minute ago. So the other big thing that kind of happened today. Yeah, DC announced that they've got Bendis exclusive.
I saw something about that.
So Bendis is going to DC.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be good. I mean, when Bendis is on, he's on.
Which
When he's not, he's so not.
Which, admittedly, he probably will be having the chance to kind of go fresh in another direction in another universe. And Rebirth kind of sets the. I think Rebirth kind of allows people to just kind of come in like that. So, I imagine. I'll say, go ahead.
No, please. I don't mean to interrupt.
I was like, I imagine he's at least going to get Justice League. I imagine that's where they're going with that. I imagine he's at least going to get Justice League. And I know Snyder's going to leave All-Star Batman at some point. So I imagine Bendis is going to get a Batman title. He's going to get Justice League.
I look forward to Justice League Disassembled.
Yeah. He's probably going to get like a Zatanna book and there's probably maybe a C-list character that he's going to get a run on because, that's what he does. So
my 2 thoughts when I read it were first, shit, what's going to happen to Miles Morales? Because he's kept Miles Morales, the voice pretty consistent, and I love Miles so much more than Peter Parker at this point. And my other thought was, I hope they give him Firestorm.
Well, I know in the immediate future, I know the Just Spider-Man title is going to become a Peter book.
Modern day Peter's so bad.
So that's becoming a Peter book. And then Miles Morales Spider-Man, they're changing the title again, or back to Miles Morales Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And then Spider-Man becomes a Peter book. So there's again going to be 2 Peter books, and I thought the problem was that there were too many books with Peter in it. I don't know. Well,
and the fact that modern day Peter is completely against anything recognizable as Peter Parker. How he can and part of the reason that Homecoming is so fun is Homecoming is basically white Miles Morales.
Although you know what though, I did like and I haven't read enough of it yet, but I've started to read Zdarsky's Spectacular.
Okay.
And
he's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm kind of into that because that's not kind of continuity-wise. That's not going into anything. So it's sort of outside the continuity. So I'm good with that. And I'm still in mourning from the Howard the Duck book getting canned. So.
Oh.
But the Zdarsky Spider-Man book is pretty cool that I've read thus far.
I don't know that he's done anything bad ever, including his Facebook friendship with Applebee's.
What in the world? What is this?
there's articles out there. Basically, Chip Zdarsky befriended Applebee's on Facebook and started treating Applebee's like an actual friend, like asking questions and like talking about his day. It's a beautiful bit of surrealistic modern day theater of the absurd.
Just like the letter column in Sex Crimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a lecture here on Friday that I so wanted to go to, but I couldn't get off work. But it was Matt Fraction interviewing John Hodgman about Vacation Land.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I want to be there, but I couldn't go.
Wow.
Yeah,
That sounds pretty-
Fraction's great.
Well, Fraction's. I mean, I love Fraction as a writer. It's funny that every time I have been told this directly by Kelly Sue DeConnick, but every time I apparently have come across Matt Fraction, he's at his introvert limit. So because she's talked about how he shuts down when too many people approach him, whereas she gets really energized from it. So every time I've actually had a chance to meet Matt Fraction, he's not there.
I must get him early. I must get him early in the day. That's what it is.
I'm sure he's a delightful fellow, but I also
he's off the wall.
I also understand that if you are someone who is that is tired of fanboy interactions and you see somebody with an iron fist tattoo on their arm, I don't want to have that conversation right now. And I get it. I get it.
Well, I remember when I actually had the longest conversation with him was Kim was in line to get something from Kelly Sue, and I had a Bowie shirt on. So there was this 5-minute conversation about Bowie because he got to talk about something else. So
of course,
it was great.
Yeah, I always recommend that. Talk about the thing that no one else wants to talk about.
Oh yeah, I once had a delightful conversation with Maurice LaMarche about the Howie Mandel show.
Oh, nice.
And It was just because nobody had mentioned that to him in a long time. And he actually got so worked up that then we started talking about the Critic, and he actually did the whole bit from the Rosebud Green Penis thing from the Critic.
Wow.
My favorite interaction from like anything was like and I think you may have been with me on this, but when I was talking to Doc Hammer about the Beatles remasters, a couple of years back, that was like the best thing, like the best really cool interaction I've had with just somebody at a thing.
Well, I just remember, speaking of Doc Hammer, my favorite was when he learned that Aaron really didn't know the works of David Bowie.
No, yes. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because Doc's reaction was you've got to go listen. You're going to be listening for the first time. Oh, to be you. Oh, to be you. Which I just thought was fantastic. Yes, it was the musical geek equivalent of me wishing that I had no caffeine tolerance,
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, I remember when I was young and could, drink just one coffee and be fine.
Yeah, I remember I'd be driving somewhere in the middle of the night and have a Josta and a Surge back to back, and I could feel my hair growing. It was awesome.
I can still fall
I've only
asleep.
achieved that. What's that?
I can still fall asleep like immediately after finishing a pot of coffee. I just don't have that problem.
Yeah.
I'll have an espresso to relax. It's just not. It's not a good idea.
Just double shot to take the edge off.
Oh yeah, you gotta. You just gotta. But yeah, I the one time I've experienced that in recent memory, that feeling of just really having a nice buzz, was when basically there was the Specialty Coffee Association conference here.
Yeah.
And I got a press pass, and so Cosette and I went, and by the time we had got, I come upon the booth that is the like joint booth of, the South American countries, and they each have their own carafe of coffee. And I'm like, oh, well, it would be rude to not try all of them,
And you don't want to offend a country,
No, I don't want to cause an international incident. But yeah, by the time we got through like a row and a half, because Cosette would be like, oh, I think I'm done with this. I'm like, don't throw that away. Give it to me. Yeah. We got through one row and a half, and I felt I could again feel my hair growing, and I was just like, oh, this is glorious. It's like being young again. Oh my.
You could have blinked half the universe out of existence, Wedge.
It's fuck yes, I could have. And I'm gonna admit something to you. It was tempting.
Oh, of course.
Well, if you're going to, you might as well, start with half the cast of X Factor. But
whoa, hang on. Why half?
Why half? Well, because there have been three or four different casts of that book. So.
Oh! Sorry, I thought you meant the television show.
No.
Okay.
No.
Can you just blink the whole Joe Quesada era out of memory?
Okay, that'll work.
Basically, I will take the original lineup and then the Peter David relaunch. The rest can go to hell.
Okay.
Yeah. Strong guy is the shit. You gotta have Guido.
Love Guido.
And again, I don't even know where any of these characters are anymore.
Well,
Guido's
a character like Guido, yeah, he until somebody decides to use him, he's just going to be gone until somebody picks him up.
But you mean he's not an Avenger? Everybody else is a fucking Avenger.
Well, I did. Okay, so when they did House of M, the resolution of that was a bit spotty on when who actually got. Because if I remember, and JJ, you'll have to help me with this. I don't know if you know, but the way House of M was resolved, I think it was in the middle of an Avengers miniseries called Children's Crusade.
Okay.
And basically, it turns out Doom, the retcon of this was Doom was manipulating Wanda.
Oh, right.
And then, so Wanda just undoes everything.
But,
basically.
Wait, what? Huh? What? What did she undo?
Well, that's the thing. They don't really explain what she undid. So basically, they left it to the X office to go, okay, whoever you don't want powers can just not have powers.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember they had Iceman lose his powers for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they had Iceman lose his powers for like 5 minutes, and it was very weird. Hawkeye was dead, and
well,
not dead, and Ronan.
Hawkeye was back. Hawkeye was back after House of M.
Yeah, but like
officially back. You could tell he was back.
Yeah, but they had but basically Children's Crusade kind of undid House of M, but they left it up to particular editors as to who got their powers back and who didn't.
And you would hope that Guido wouldn't lose his powers, because if he didn't have powers, that physique just doesn't work.
No. But I know a lot of. I don't know if Guido was ever in the last version of Peter David's X Factor with
the one
Detective
with
Agency.
Yeah. Well,
not all new X Factor. It was the one before that. The Detective Agency.
Oh yeah, no, he was totally a part of that.
Okay.
He had actually one of my because it turned out there was a very subtle thing of him being manipulated in that, where somebody was fucking with his brain. But he had one of my favorite reactions to when somebody was like, So there was an issue where you find out that Banshee had died again. And Siren's reaction was perfect because she was like, okay, well, we'll see him later. And when for some reason Strong Guy, even though he'd met Banshee, it just didn't connect with him. They were like, Banshee, Sean Cassidy. And he was like, the singer? And that never gets acknowledged, so it made me giggle.
Yeah, apparently he died and then was brought back to life by Layla Miller, who's apparently grown up now. And Wolfsbane has a son.
Well, she was basically 11 from Stranger Things, so...
Right. But of course, they've killed off Madrox, so their interesting relationship is gone.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't read anymore. This is giving me a headache.
Even the synopsis.
Yeah, no, it's like I can't. Wait, hang on. Let me. No, I can't care. Yeah. No, I tried. I can't.
I can tell you some okay books that'll not hurt your brain sometime, Widge.
Oh God.
The latest Power Man and Iron Fist run. It was fun. It's simple. It's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the one the Samurai Jack guy did?
No, he did do one that got published as a like a one shot.
Oh, okay.
No, but there was one.
The other one, because that was coming out at the same time, I think.
Yeah, it was the David Walker Sanford.
Yeah. Kim's got that. I haven't read it yet.
I enjoyed it, and I don't know if he's continuing to do it because he's doing a creator-owned thing now. But he's also he did a Luke Cage series that I'm working my way through right now that I'm enjoying.
Yeah. No, everybody. I don't know who's doing anything really, because I know the Surfer title ended, and I really like the way that ended. So. Yeah.
No.
So the Surfer title ended, which I'm a little sad about, but it ended well. So
I read,
and they at least got to end it. So
yeah, I read the first half of that, but I haven't read it since it relaunched.
Yeah.
It had one of the I liked the girl he was with. I liked the fact that the pun on the way she named his board.
Yeah.
And so that sort of stuck with me as the tone, and I liked the tone of that book a lot.
Yeah. The Allred, and even if you didn't like the story, the Allred stuff, the Allred art is just great.
Oh yeah.
It was perfect for that book. So
for the record, the pun Widge.
Yeah.
She called his board Toomie. Toomie, because every time he would refer to it, he would say, "To me, my board."
Oh God! Wow.
Yeah, the best kind of puns are the ones that hurt a little.
Yeah, that's true. That one did get to me. Oy.
I will say, I do want this, going back to the New Mutants movie, I do kind of want the New Mutants movie to be successful, because if they make a second one, he has said he wants to put Warlock in it, and I think a CGI Warlock would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it could be. I just... See, to me, the problem is, again, you're not establishing anything. Demon Bear was effective because you had established the school as as regular as you could get place for a bunch of students, with powers.
Yeah.
And into that environment is injected this, again, slow burn of what the fuck is going on, and then they find out it's Moonstar, and then so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but no. Oh, nope, it's a horror movie from the get-go. Okay.
But
so,
if they, I know they're doing it faster than this, but I mean, the television series Legion established you can tell an interesting XE story outside of the School for Gifted Youngsters. So if they set the tone right, it might still work.
Yeah, but I mean, when I think of Legion, I don't necessarily think of the school. I mean, I think of what they did, which is the whole.
Well, to be fair,
King.
they did have a school analog in it, so.
That's true.
Oh, they did, but it was.
And a kind of X-Men type resistance group, so.
Yes.
You had analogs that were there to kind of cover up the fact that maybe it isn't directly linked, but you could kind of tell that those things were there for the background and the structure.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I guess my point is that when I think of Legion, I don't think of a school. I think of the character and how,
Yeah.
the multiple personalities and all that stuff. I think of that as opposed to, New Mutants, where it was like, well, it's the school. It is the school. There's actually that is to me the defining factor of that series is they are not X-Men. They were trying to create a group that was not X-Men, and not necessarily even to train them to be X-Men,
Right.
but just to know what the hell they were doing.
And it also, one thing that understanding that stories need to be different. I don't want to see them have Robert Downey Jr. do Demon in a Bottle. I don't need that.
No, that's right.
But oh shit! I can't believe I lost my thought in the middle of that. Hopefully it'll come back in a second. That was a massive brain fart.
That happens. Well, I don't know if this is what you're going for or not, but here's the thing that springs to mind. I don't want
That's where I was going
to see, the books just acted out like a play.
Yeah.
Right.
But there are certain things that are so indicative of the material that to lose them would be doing the material a disservice. And the example is I've only started watching The Dark Tower. And the fact that you do not open that with the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's like, what? How can you not even just obliquely, just acknowledge it in some fashion? No, it's just, we're just going to leave that shit out. It's like
just
that
have Ron
is
Howard read it
ridiculous.
Arrested Development style.
The man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. Yes,
he
he did.
I do remember where I was going to go. But I was saying, even though I don't want it to be slavish to the books, one of the great joys in Deadpool was the fact that it was the first real time that Fox sort of took the source material somewhat respectively. And one of the joys for people like me was to see Negasonic in a New Mutants costume. And so again, you're taking something like that Deadpool got right, and you're taking it completely away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And it makes me curious about how they're going to approach X-Force. Are they not? So the kids, obviously, it's not going to be the kids eventually going to X-Force. I'm guessing, because that would be rushing things a bit.
And if we do X-Force properly, are all of the actors going to have their feet removed?
That's true. Then maybe we are going with the kids if they go the Saw route with the film. So
It's just the CGI budget on like convenient plumes of steam for all of the naked people.
yeah,
and the sort of distorting anatomy to make the film feel right. It's going to be really weird.
but and I'm curious because we know Cable's in Deadpool.
So's Domino.
Yeah, and so we know that. So I'm guessing I would have to assume it's going to be a later version of X-Force where it's the Black Ops version, and not the one with the kids.
unless they just flat out decide to go with a different cable, a different domino, a different cannonball.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure. I having not seen the film, having not seen New Mutants, I can't imagine how they get the kids from that to
Straight into X-Force.
straight into X-Force, particularly particularly if they play Deadpool 2 as the Cable Deadpool book, which, by the way, I did enjoy for a while. But if they play it like that, I'm kind of curious how they get it to how the two streams mix. That would be how I would not be able to follow that, but it's a while off.
I wasn't really able to follow how New Mutants turned into X-Force to begin with.
Well, no, because that was, hey, let's give Rob a book, because Rob needed a book. No, he didn't.
Fuck you, Louise Simonson. We don't care about you anymore. Thanks for all your hard work.
Well, before I get talked into reading Marvel again, let's move on to recommendations. Let's run away and go to recommendations.
I do hope that show's good. I really do.
What show?
Runaways.
Oh, okay.
It
The
looks
initial
good.
reviews are good.
It looks good.
I don't have Hulu, and I don't plan on picking up Hulu, but I might have to find friends with Hulu because it looks right.
Yeah, I'm not
that
as
the
familiar
17th
with
is when
the book, so
I read all the Runaways through Jaws's run of it.
Okay, that's about how
And
far I read.
then I stopped reading after that.
Again, I know you
Altogether, I stopped reading anything. I don't even know how I get anything running here because I cannot read.
You don't
anything.
even know what's the ingredients in anything anymore.
No.
I know you said you didn't want to get talked into reading Marvel, Widge, but that first Runaways miniseries is fucking good.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's really good.
Really fucking good.
And that's that's the Brian K. Vaughan run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he stopped writing it before he got Brian K. Vaughan confused.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Someone took his pen away, fortunately.
Which luckily he hasn't done on Saga yet.
No.
You just hit on something. So, my actual recommendation, going out of turn this time, I think I'm going to go is actually Saga. I've actually started reading Saga. I know I'm like 4 or 5 years too late or something. But yeah, I've gotten through the first trade paperback, and I'm going after the second one now. It's pretty freaking amazing.
Widge, I believe this is your caffeine moment happening right now.
It sounds like it.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's my recommendation.
Oh, you've got so much to look forward to.
As though nobody else has already recommended it 1,000 times before me. That is my recommendation.
I am so happy for you, John. Much like Doc Hammer felt about David Bowie, I am so happy for you. You have some really good reading ahead of you.
Yeah,
it's been fantastic thus far. So it's because I had heard all the hype around it. Everyone had recommended it 1,000 times, but I never bothered to pick it up. But I finally did, and damn, now I understand why. So that's my recommendation. I'm done. Someone else has to do my shtick later.
All right, who's next?
JJ, did you have something else you were going to recommend?
I pretty much have. We've been talking like even recent comics and stuff, and I pretty much have recommended all just through talking a lot of what I've read lately.
Okay. Well, I don't remember what I recommended the last time I was here. Cuphead.
You recommended that the last time.
Did I? Okay. Well, I'll recommend it again because
then we got into a discussion about Witcher at some point during that.
Yeah, because oh my god, it's still fun and cute and amazing, and there's all sorts of stuff you pick up on while you're being killed. A lot. But it's fun, and the soundtrack is great, and I know the soundtrack is available on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's available in any other format, which would kind of make sense now that I think about it. But if it is available in another format, go find it and get that, because they did a lot of work to get the soundtrack on that game absolutely right. So,
have you heard if that's ever going to expand outside Microsoft?
I don't know if it is yet, because I know I think it's exclusive.
Yeah, because it's on. You can either play it on a Microsoft computer or on Xbox.
Or Xbox,
So,
yeah.
You know, as a Mac user with a PlayStation, oops.
Oops. Well, there are ways you can get around that, but parallels. But because I have parallels. That's how I get around some of those
There's
things.
no parallel to you, Tuffley.
So the other thing I was going to recommend is the new St. Vincent album, Mass Seduction, which is pretty killer. I've enjoyed that, and I believe and yeah, I didn't mention the Beck record. I do enjoy the Beck record. A lot of people are saying it's a little, I guess, in the safe zone for him, but I appreciate the fact that we didn't get Morning Phase 2 so much, because that album was depressing enough. So, I can deal with this. So, Colors from Beck, I enjoyed. That was really good. And the St. Vincent record is pretty good. And the Foo Fighters record is out too, which I did not mention the last time I was here. Concrete and Gold's out, and that's pretty good. I enjoyed that, and I'll get to see that when they come around in April. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, St. Vincent's about to play here with Run the Jewels opening.
Yeah. That's happening here too. I'm trying to see if I can go to that, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But yes, if you can see that, go see that. She's great.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Tuffley. I guess that's everybody except me. So yes, as John would have said, and he thought probably very hard.
I did. I actually did.
He did. He had. I heard him. I heard a psychic summons from across the way. Any of the stuff that we talked about, whether it's the comics or the movies or whatever, if you go to neatcoffee.com/Amazon, you can find that you're at Amazon, and anything that you purchase when you're at Amazon, going through that link will get us some kickbacks, which we appreciate.
Is that Amazon.com/hologramsassemble? No.
Kind of. It's kind of like that, but it's completely different.
That's truly outrageous.
Oh God, I wish my soundboard was up. I wish I was not living in this apartment right
now. You'll just have to have that in your head, John.
You wait. In just a couple of months when I've got my studio back up, I'll show you kids.
I would have gotten away with it too.
Oh.
If it hadn't been for those meddling kids and that Scott.
If it hadn't been for those misfits.
Their songs are better.
They really are.
Oy.
Not so much without Danzig, though.
Not so much for the Danzig.
For my recommendation, I'm going to recommend. Right before Halloween, I saw the 4K restoration of Night of the Living Dead. Nice. I saw it here at the Plaza, which is a cinema that's been open since 1939. So it was the perfect venue for it. And it's the first time I'd seen it in the cinema. So first up, keep an eye, because I don't know how I lucked into finding out about it. But yeah, keep an eye out for such things, because you never know when they're going to sneak up on you. And the other thing is, on Blu-ray, is Janus Films, who did the restoration. They also put out a 4K restoration, which I don't know if it ever played here on the big screen, of The Old Dark House from the 30s with Karloff. And it looks amazing. I would recommend going and finding. There is a amazing trailer that they put together. That, I mean, despite the fact the film is as old as it is, you just go, okay, I want to see this. This looks amazing. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. The Old House. Grab it if possible.
So I have a question about you recently. Recently rewatched Night of the Living Dead for the first time in I don't remember how many years.
Right.
And well, first of all, I was stricken by how much it felt like a teleplay, and it just made me want to do a stage version of Night of the Living Dead. But I was surprised upon rewatching it that the ghouls, since he never calls them zombies,
right,
are smarter and borderline fast
Yeah.
compared to what we get later. I was just curious. What do you agree? Do you not agree?
I think they are to a certain extent smarter. There are a few instances of them being fast, but it's not. It's not like over the entire population, if you will, of the ghouls that you see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of theories as to why that is. I would say, if anything, because everything's fresher, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, would that be, because I don't know what the timeline is for the other two films, but wouldn't that be sort of deterioration of the population with why they would be slower later?
That is definitely possible.
Well, and also, I mean, I've always thought that a burst of speed from a zombie kind of makes sense, because until you get the sugar out of your muscles, you could run for a little while, then you build up lactic acid and you just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we don't want to give the zombie the speed force, okay? That's, we don't want that. We don't want that. And also just flying parts. Things just randomly flying off. We don't want that.
No.
Right.
People people getting hit by random arms and not knowing why.
But
that's the worst part. It's fine if you've been hit by a random arm, that's fine. But not knowing why, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I want you to see my face when I hit you with that arm.
Well, I mean, otherwise, how do you get the satisfaction?
Exactly. But like, I was surprised to see them using rocks and tools and things. It was, it didn't bother me, but I was like, there's an argument to be made for all sorts of like zombies in this film that I didn't remember.
Yep. So yeah. And as far Night of the Living Dead, I personally think that it needs to be an opera. And the trick would be that the living sing in Italian and the dead sing in German. It would just be intense. But yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I mean, if Evil Dead works as a stage play musical, why not Night of the Living Dead?
Yes. But you'd have to, I think you would, for the most part, I think you would try to play it as straight as possible, because that is what is chilling about the film, is that it is really timeless. I mean, unfortunately, it's even more, I won't say more, but I mean, it's still very telling about, what happens over the course of the film.
Right. Well, and Romero has said that he didn't mean to make a statement with the end of the film.
Yeah.
And it's interesting watching it. You could see how he wasn't making a statement, but he's still making a statement.
Yeah.
That was not his intention. He just that was the best actor. So
yeah.
But it did turn into a thing for the other films, that you always had a strong black actor that basically was, you know, pretty much always the smartest person in the room for the, well, even in the Land of the Dead too. So, but yeah, if you really want somebody smart in a horror movie, go see, what is it, King of the Zombies with Manton Moreland. Fucking brilliant. But anyway, so there you go. Yeah, I will look forward to getting that on 4K DVD, Blu-ray, even though I don't have a 4K television because, you know, I only own copies of it so far. So why stop buying them now?
I can also provide a 4K television if you'd like to view that.
Yeah.
Party
at Tough Laser.
On the 4K Xbox, which.
Oh wow. Wow.
I got to get into this new generation of fangled gaming. I still have an old PlayStation. Haven't even upgraded past 3.
Hey, is it PS Fat?
Sure. I don't know.
What?
Is it?
Yeah, it is hip like all the other kids. It is PS Fat.
Yeah,
it is PS Pop Body Positive.
It self-identifies as.
It's the one that's still. Is it the one that's still backwards compatible with the other stuff? Because I know there was.
Oh no! I wish it was. I do so wish it was.
Yeah. I kept my PS Fat because that's the reason I didn't trade it in. I kept that. I just bought a bigger hard drive.
I've never been an early adapter, so I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, as the sun sets on another episode of Weekend Justice.
The sun's going down, Wedge.
Yeah. You're right, big guy.
It's all right, big guy. The sun's going down.
Why do you keep saying that? Anyway, so yes, as the sun sets on another episode, as well as on us, as we try to come to grips with the latest technology while threatening kids that play ZZ Top on our lawn, we have come to the end of another episode of Weekend Justice, and just like every time as we try to take stock of what we've learned and what we've forgotten in our collective senility, I think it's only appropriate that we take a moment to stare at the carcass of the last 3 hours and simply say, hippier.
Hippier Square?
Introductions.
Hey, I don't do introductions at this point.
We could do introductions and just end with introductions.
I just feel bad when, Clutch gets ignored.
Clutch is never ignored, my
Clutch
friend.
is never ignored. I think there have been a couple
Nobody
of
puts
times.
Clutch in the corner.
I think there have been a couple of times they just inserted Clutch somewhere.
Right. Well, I mean, considering the song even mentions Ragnarok, I believe.
Yes. In fact, it does.
Nice.
It's time for Ragnarok and roll over.
Although at some point, what would be fun is if we ran the Clutch backwards.
Oh,
You don't want to grind the Clutch out.
See, it's funny. You go to something automotive. I think, oh, the first G.I. Joe figure. How sad is that? Answer: pretty fucking sad.
But you do get a car with a Kung Fu grip.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's important.
Otherwise, what's the point?
That's important.
All right. That's it then.
All right, gentlemen.
What?
Nothing.
We can do them if you really want to.
We could.
Just do the entire introductions as the coda. We've never done that before.
So wait, what if we did the introductions and misidentified everyone? How would they know?
Oh God.
It's time for your Nam to podcast.
I'd be terrified of what I would improvise as your names. And so should you be.
Why are we all serial killers? I don't even like clowns.
Oh, God. All right. Yeah, fine. Let's do introductions to Dakota. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Weekend Justice. It's the Weekend Justice podcast here on NeedCoffee.com, the #1 audio internet train wreck. We're here in the Hall of Weekend Justice with the Weekend Justice League, and I will identify them as best I can, going from my right to your left. We have JJ is here. Hello, JJ.
Goodbye.
We also have Tuffley here as well. Hi, Tuffley.
I seriously can't believe we've looped. We've looped ourselves. It's, oh my God.
And there's also John from the Unique Geek. Hi, John.
You'll float too, Bill.
I am just a Bill after all.
Darkest introductions ever.
And that's how it ends. Oh, that was my favorite part.
Okay, time to get to bed. I gotta be at work at like 4:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I got
What is it like? What is it like? Noon where you're at right now?
It's 8:02.
Okay.
Oh
yeah, you should probably get some sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.